Good afternoon, students. This is Professor Estrada with your week 2, day 1 and day 2 audio video lecture to help you get started with this week. I'm going to go ahead and get started and begin with the home page of the course. Naturally, if you've already dived into week 1, this is just familiar for you to just begin on this home page. I am recording this a few days early, so if you're seeing this in real time, welcome to week 2. This is the home page. This is where you see announcements, due dates, anything like that. On the left side tab, I have the announcements where I will always post recaps of that week, anything important going on, and where we are at within the course. It's just helpful to remember that anything that I usually have is always sent to you here and is always as well sent to your student email. On the right side tab, I have the first little box. It's got my info. It's got my email right here. It tells you where I can be reached at. And then we also have the work to do module and the calendar, just as I said in the week 1 video, but also to remember is that while these are great, you can click on them and they'll dive and take you right within that content or assignment. Be mindful of the syllabus due date because these may allow you the extra days that you will turn in something. As I review for this course, we opened up on a Monday morning through a Sunday night, so it goes by week 1, week 2, week 3. However, I do allow late work within the course, so even after Sunday night, you can always turn in something Monday, Tuesday, what have you. Each day I just deduct points. This is where this comes in. If you click on one of these, or if these say a certain date that's not in relation to the syllabus, this just may add the extra due dates that are allowed to you. So always be aware of the syllabus due date as opposed to what may be listed right here. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in. The first thing that we're going to do is click on the content from your banner. The content will take you directly to the next page. And like I said before, if you're familiar with week 1, this is just me showing you how I visually go from one thing to another to help you as if we were in the course. So we're going to go into the week 2 folder. This is where we will be at. We're going to be looking at week 2 folder part 1 and week 2 folder part 2. So whenever I click on the module, it drops down to all the little buttons. But on the right side tab, it'll tell you what's inside the folder for that week. This is as if we were meeting twice a week. So this could be considered like a Monday, Wednesday class or a Tuesday, Thursday class. That's why it says week 2 folder part 1. So in the part 1 folder, it says that we have the lecture slides, the video lecture as you will see it. You're going to be reading To a Waterfowl by William Cullen Bryant. I also have the audio listed right here if you're an auditory person. Then Autopsis by William Cullen Bryant, as well as the audio. The Hasty Pudding by Joe Barlow. The Owl and the Sparrow by John Trumbull. And To the Ladies of a Certain Age by John Trumbull. And then after you read all of these readings by these certain authors, you'll begin discussion board number 3, which has questions that entail all of the major works and those authors. Some questions may relate to just one specific work or all of them or just a specific author. We also have a word count link right here that will help you count your words. The due date for this particular week 2 is set for Sunday, April 5th. And then it just says that while the calendar, the to-do list on the homepage may say Thursday, April 9th, always go by what the syllabus says. And the syllabus will say April 5th. This just says that after that day, I do submit and accept late work, but each day I just deduct points. And as you scroll down, notice that you can scroll down. It just kind of gives you a heads up of what is to happen in the next couple of weeks in the online folders. It says to be reviewing the week 1 and week 2 day 1 authors and their content as they'll be within the Unit 1 exam. The Unit 1 exam will open up in the week 2 part 2 folder. So as I opened up early, it's already there for you. It will be available. It's already available on March 27th. It should already be available for you and will close April 12th. So that is a long stretch of time for you to complete this. And because I opened it up early after that date, it will not be available after that time. I will not reopen it. Because it's going to be found in the week 2 part 2 folder, go back to it even after the said folder or the said week passes. Sorry. So now we're going to dive into what's in the week 2 part 1 folder. We have the lecture slides, the readings, text and audio as you see them, and the discussion board. Okay, so let me dive into the lecture slides real quick for you. So I'm going to open them up as if we were in class, and I'll be giving out this lecture. So these are the lecture slides that you ought to be seeing whenever you look this up. I don't know why my spacing did that. So these are objectives for today, week 2, day 1. We have a recap of week 1, day 2 in case you like to view the video first. There is a reminder for late work and late pass. This is as if I would be saying this out loud in a classroom as well. We're going to be looking at the online folder, just as you've already seen it in Brightspace, and a lecture on the introduction of realism and naturalism, period. So this is our recap from week 1, day 2. Mind you, this is as if it's already passed, and what you did from week 1, day 2. You can always view this in the actual Brightspace folder as well. And then my late work, late pass reminder, it just tells you that for late work, just as I've mentioned already twice, you could always turn it in even after its due date. I just deduct 25 points per each day. After the 4th day, it is a 0. The late pass policy is there for you. You're automatically given 2 late passes at the beginning of the course. I have them in my notes, so anytime that you use one, I send you a confirmation email saying if you've used late pass number 1 or late pass number 2. For you to use a late pass, just simply, as it says, send me an email stating for what assignment by 10 p.m. its due date. Okay. Another important reminder is, just like you said in the Brightspace folder, that the unit exam will be available. As it's March 27th, I already opened it up and it will close April 12th. It tells you how many questions it should be over. Be mindful of the authors and their works. Know what type of writing they wrote, if it's an essay, if it's a story, if it's a political speech. And there may be some components of a test as well. True, false, multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer. Okay. I do apologize if you hear my niece in the background. She is with us right now. Okay, so exactly how you see in the Brightspace folder right now, exactly what I just said a couple moments ago, this is what you should be seeing in the folder. So like I said, as if I would be giving this lecture with these PowerPoints in class, this is what you would do afterwards. So this is just really great reason to percolate. So now we go into our timeline of our movements. Okay, so this is the introduction to the realism and naturalism period. And I'll go ahead and read these to you. And I'll try to keep an angle on my phone so that way you can see it. From the end of the American Civil War until the start of World War I, American realists rejected the political and emotional concerns of the Romantic period in favor of objectivity and naturalism in literature. American realists sought to reflect social concerns with race and class by depicting the world realistically, a quality in literature called verisimilitude, authenticity, or believability of a work. Realism writing was a technique that denotes a particular kind of subject matter, especially the representation of middle-class life. Due to the harsh reality of life in America at the time, people realized that mankind was not all kind. Authors during this time each had different views on the enemy, which was different depending on where a writer was from, but in the end, all were affected by war. Realism in the post-Civil War literary movement was 1865 to 1900. So above here, it tells you whenever those periods began. Realism directly opposes the previous movement of Romanticism. I already noticed that typo right there. I'm so sorry about that. I did not realize that. Just kind of ignored that extra. It focuses on the harsh realities of life and gives a reader a true sense of local color, which is the fictional recreation of authors' own experiences. It incorporates a difficult time in the American history, focusing on Civil War, industrialization, Reconstruction, and urbanization. Realism demonstrates reality closely and in comprehensive detail. Characters that depict realism were more important than action and plot, and complex ethical choices are often the subject. So these are some concepts and definitions of the realism period. And now let's go into its literary impact. I'm going to zoom out so that way you can see it. The realism and naturalism period challenged traditional notions of propriety in literature, paving the way for greater frankness and honesty in the treatment of social issues and taboo subjects. These movements contributed to a growing awareness of social problems and injustices, such as poverty, crime, and corruption, and helped to inspire progressive reforms and activism. The emphasis on regional and local color writing gave a sense of cultural diversity and helped to create a distinctly literary tradition, writing about the everyday American life. And here are some characteristics that we will find in their writing. We're going to be looking at characters that appear in their real complexity of temperament and motive to nature, to each other, to their social class, and to their own past. Some key themes to look at is diction, tone, were of the time, comical, satirical, and often used to exploit the themes of American labor, family issues, and everyday life. Plot. Events were authentic and plausible. Writings avoided romances and dramatic elements used in other periods. But class was important. Works traditionally served as interests and aspirations of the middle class. And then as we shift from one period or movement to the other, we have to consider the naturalism period. So realism period and the naturalism period. So my slides are being awful right now and not being able to focus in on one. But the naturalism period, its concepts and definitions are very different than that of the latter. So naturalism is a term for the physical sciences or the study of nature. Naturalism explores the methods of the physical sciences, drawing heavily on the principles of causality, determinism, explanation, and experimentation. Writers of this time studied human beings led by their instincts and passions, in which the characters' lives were governed by forces of heredity and environment. Naturalism often portrays characters as victims of their environment, with their fates predetermined by their circumstances. Okay? Its literary impact is as follows. Naturalist authors often included the themes of fate and the struggle between man and nature. It is aimed for a scientific, impartial approach to storytelling, employed third-person narration to maintain distance from characters and events. Naturalist works dealt with taboo subjects at the time, such as prostitution, alcoholism, domestic violence, violent deaths, crime, madness, and degeneration. Naturalist novels were written for an almost journalistic perspective with narrative distance from action and the characters. So as we look at both movements, it's easy to determine a difference between both and how those writings reflect at that time. So as you go in from the lecture slides, I had to hit the escape button. We look at poetry during that time that was written and other works that help with this. Naturally, as we look at how these works reflect that time, sometimes the authors may end up in another section and you would say, oh, that explains a lot. So we're going to click on the discussion board number 3. And as it says, after reading the poetry of some of those influential writers, with the terms of poetry, philosophy, love, life, and individuality, I would like you to answer some of the following questions, making sure that we review and look at these specific authors in question. So notice that some of these questions are in relation to a specific author, their work, or as a whole, or even individuals. So some of these may require some higher cognitive thinking, to which I would want you to give your best perspective, your own words, your own interpretation of what that means. And as this says to post your own post, I would like you can copy and paste the entire questions as is. You can just list them 1, 2, 3. However you would like to give your one post. Okay, right here, start new thread as if you're seeing this live. So you can put DB2, DB3. You can list them as 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. I can't see as I'm holding this right now. So you can put 1, 2, 3. And then you can just put the answer. You can write it as a whole paragraph. You can list it, bullet, number, however you would like to. You can write in any font, any color, any size, as long as it's legible by me. And then make your post. So make your post. It also says as step 2 to reply to others. And as you were starting to see from former discussions, that within the post to each other, I would like you to maintain a certain word count as well. And as this follows the week 2 due date, it tells you its due date. While it tells you that the home page may say otherwise, the due date is right here. Okay, and then the word count link is right here. So that way, if you want a resource to help you count your words, it'll count your words for you. It doesn't automatically save in here, so just have a way to back up and go back to that discussion board. It's good to just paste it in here to count your words, but oftentimes I've had students say, you accidentally started in here and pasted in here, it didn't save, so now you have to start all over. It just is a good, helpful resource to count words. Okay, so now the week 2 part 2 folder should be open for you. This is what we ought to see whenever we open it up. It's got a few things for us, got a couple of stories, and the discussion board number 4, an extra credit opportunity, and then the unit exam that I was just talking about. So let's look at it as a whole right here. It says that the lecture slides will be in here. We got a couple of stories that I wanted us to shift into. So we have a couple of stories that are listed. The Luck of Warren Camp, read and listen. The audio link is there if you would like to look at it. Miggles by Bret Hart. The Storm by Kate Chopin. Listen if you want to. The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin. To Build a Fire by Jack London. The audio link is also there if you would like to use it. And Barn Burning by William Faulkner. And then after you read those stories, just as you've done before, you are going to go into the discussion board number 4. Just as we've done before, there's also a word count link. There's also an extra credit opportunity in here. It says that this extra credit opportunity will allow you up to 7 points on your lowest minor grade. Minor grades considered are quizzes, discussion boards, and submitted writing assignments. It's not obligatory. It's not a requirement. It's just if you would like the bonus points, they're there. They never harm you if you don't do them. But it does give you points towards your lowest minor grade. If your lowest minor grade is a 30, I add 7 points. If your lowest minor grade is a 95, I will still give you those 7 points. Especially if it's a 10 or a 0, your lowest minor grade, if you complete this, will still be given 7 points. And then the Unit 1 exam is available in this folder. Review to its due dates if it's passed or goes over the week 2 folder. But the rest of the things in here, so discussion board number 4 and the extra credit if you do it, will be due on Sunday, April 5th. The unit exam will open in the week 2 folder. I fixed it right here. I didn't fix it in the other folder, but it does say that because I opened this early. The unit 1 exam has now been open since 3 o'clock. It's now 4:49 as I'm recording this on Friday, March 27th, and it will close April 12th. And just to be sure, it just gives you a review of what to expect before you even go into the Unit 1 exam. And then it just says after that I won't be able to open it. So let's dive in to the lecture slides for this, so that way we have them. We have the week 2, day 2 lecture slides. And they are as follows. Okay, this is as if I would be giving this in a traditional classroom setting. We have the objectives for week 2, day 2. Just as you've seen in the Bright Space folder, you have the recap content of week 2, day 1, the online components of week 2, day 2, and then some important reminders. So this is just what you just saw in the week 2, day 1 folder with the same due date as well. And then our online folder, just as I've gone over it. Extra credit opportunity, Unit 1 exam, and all the wonderful stories. And then a reminder for you. A reminder for late work. Any assignment can still be accepted without a late pass. I just deduct points after its due date. For every day, I just deduct 25 points. So after the 4th day, if it's not submitted, it is a 0. And then your late pass policy. Late pass, use it as you see fit. Your business is your own. If you're not turning in things, just make sure that you adhere to the late pass on the day that it's due by 10 o'clock to receive those 2 extra days. I don't look at it. I don't count it late. It's just really helpful for a lot of people if this is just an extension because life happens. Okay, and then the important reminder, as I opened up the folder on March 27th for the unit exam, it just says right here the other dates as stated by the syllabus. So I technically opened this up a couple of days even before April 5th. So today is March 27th. I opened this up a couple of days way before that. So you do have a stretch of time to complete the Unit 1 exam. So notice that these lecture slides may not reflect the movement continuation or lecture slides or key points or in fact authors. This just gives you extra time to go back in and review those authors and their stories. So the first story is The Luck of Warren Camp. It is a PDF. If you have questions opening up or won't download, let me know. You're always welcome to zoom out. So this allows you to zoom out. It's on PDF, so you're able to view it. I do have some people that are listeners, so they are more than welcome to listen to it as well. You do have to click on the links for it to open. We have the story Miggles as well. We have it as an audio. We have the story The Storm by Kate Chopin. It's one of the most favorite ones of all the classes. It's very entertaining, to say the least. We also have it as an audio. We have the story of an hour. Now this one's not PDF, but it does open up, so you're more than welcome to follow along with the audio as well. The audio is listed below it. We have To Build a Fire. Take your time with the stories. They're really good short stories, but they're also really helpful as you look at the components of our movements that we just listed. We also have To Build a Fire as an audio, and Barn Burning. Now this one's kind of weird in its shape, so you may have to zoom in, zoom out with that one, and then the audio. I also have the word count link provided for you to count your words. We also have discussion board number 4. And let's look at discussion board number 4. It just says that after following and reading the stories listed, and they're listed right here for you, I want you to answer the following questions about them. Some of them pertain to the author, the work itself, the story, some characters. But be sure to review the stories before you go in, because sometimes we'll be looking at a question and it's going to ask you something that you didn't really pick up the first read through of the story. So you may have to go back in and be like, wait, that character was not even in there. Sometimes the questions may ask you something very specific. Like question 5, it says, from the readings and stories this week or this section, what was the most powerful line or sentence that you read? Write the title of the story below and tell me why. I want to kind of consider which ones are sticking out to you, which ones are more impressionable, and which ones are the least bit interesting. And just like this one, there are a couple of questions. You are more than welcome to list all the questions with your answer however you would like to format it. You can bullet, you can number, you can alphabetize them, however, if it's easier for you. And then we'll put it right here in roll time, so we'll start a new thread, just as you're seeing this. I don't know why I'm gonna keep writing that. Okay, and then I'm gonna put 1, 2, 3, as if I was just gonna write the question. I can write the question, or I can just write my answer. I can bullet, number them, however, I can put any color, any font, any size, as long as it's legible. And then I'm gonna put my post. And don't forget that after you consider your post and write it, be sure to reply to other people. Okay, and then within that word count, and if you've forgotten how to compliment people, I also include some statements right here. You are more than welcome to fill them and use them as needed. And then this follows the week 2 due date. Okay. And so I also have an extra credit opportunity right here. Let me open that up for you. And I'm going to open up the instructions so that way you're able to see it. So these instructions are as follows. It's an extra credit opportunity. It is due, you're seeing the instructor side of it, it is due April 5th at 11:59. So this says that for you to earn this extra credit, you would need to do the following. It says to create a new document that answers the prompt below. The prompt is here as soon as I scroll. If you have trouble uploading the document for whatever reason, let me know. There's always another method to this. But if there's a text box and it allows you to write your response in there, you're always welcome to do that within this assignment. So it just says for you to answer the following prompt, the following questions in the form of 7 to 10 sentences. Being as this is extra credit, I would like you to adhere to an essay guideline of proper indentations, complete sentences, free of syntax and spelling errors. To the best of your ability, I would like you to consider the following sentences and answer them. You can answer them in the form of paragraphs. You can answer them as listed, however you would like to. But I would encourage you, if you would like the bonus points, that they are here for you. And it just talks about the positive factors that you've learned while being in a college class. What are some negative setbacks that you've experienced or recognized in timed deadlines? And as a reflection piece, discuss what you could do more to prepare yourself in what area you want to improve in. And then it just tells you the due date. And unfortunately, as extra credit, you cannot turn in late or use a late pass for this. And this extra credit, as you have seen, will earn you up to 7 points on your lowest minor grade, which is discussion boards, quizzes, and submitted writing assignments. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the last thing. It just says the unit exam is also here. Let let me see if I can show a little bit. Okay, I can show a little bit right here. It just says this unit exam is a collection of works. Do your best. You're given 2 chances with a time limit of 2 hours, I believe. And I don't grade until the window closes. Mind you, because there are multiple choice or true false, they're automatically graded. But if you see a 30, but you know you probably completed the whole thing, just wait until I grade all of it, so you may see a rise or leverage in that grade. Do your best, take your time, and that covers weeks 1 through week 2, day 1. Okay? And as always, reach out to me if you have any questions. My email is aestrada@hillcollege.edu.